Hey, what's going on, guys? I posted something earlier showing a car setup for my PSP, and a lot of people were pretty interested in how I did it. Now, I will be up front and say this was definitely something of a proof of concept, but for the most part, this is just for fun. This is definitely not the most ideal way to do this. I'm sure there's a more compact way to do it. I would start by making the power source for the retro tank smaller, so I could definitely do that by getting an inverter for the cigarette lighter. But I have a police radar here, so I don't get pulled over for any reason. So I don't use that, but if you wanted to, you could definitely do that. Yeah, I'll just go through this real quick, just because a lot of people find it interesting, and then I'll do a quick demo of what this can do and all that. But so obviously power, right? The only thing that I'm using this big old battery bank for is to power the retro tank. So if you could do that independently, this would be a much more seamless setup for you. But I use this all the time for all kinds of portable home console setups. I have another video on my channel showing off my fascination with those things, like the portable Wii, a portable PS2, PS3, PS4, PS1 as well. That's just kind of my thing. But this is just another use for it, and I charge this battery all the time in my car as I drive, so it's plenty useful for me. Anyways, moving on. Going from power and powering this retro tank, all I did was I plugged in the component cable for the PSP Go, and then I set up an HDMI out, and of course the actual power on the retro tank. The HDMI goes into this AutoCast box. Very, very simple HDMI in solution that you can have for your CarPlay if you wanted to. It's like $60 on Amazon, but you can get this for $30 on AliExpress, and it's this exact same thing. So unless you want it like really quick, just get it on AliExpress. It's much cheaper. This only works if you have a USB in or USB-C in for CarPlay from the factory. So this is a Nissan Versa 2023. I think there was another commenter that said you could do this on a 2020 model as well. So that's fine. But just plug that in, and without the HDMI in, it'll just seek an HDMI signal. And I actually have this set up already. I went ahead and scaled it. So whenever I want to play games, I would just press the 7 button on this, and it would go ahead and zoom it in for games. So it zooms it in quite a bit. But if I just want to be on the menu for, say, music, I'll press 5 again, and it'll zoom it out completely and perfectly. Put in the proportions for that, and I'll just go into music. Well, that's system storage. I gotta go to my SD card, and then it has all the music that I have, and I'll put on some random song, put it on shuffle, and the visualizer works. I mean, it's great. Turn it down a little bit because it's gonna get loud. But yeah, I was actually tempted to get another dash because I really wanted something like a PSP visualizer, and now that this works, I might actually put some effort into compacting this a bit. But I really could just run this from the back of my car and just have this running forward if I wanted to. The wires are definitely long enough, but the end result's really nice. I actually have a let me see, I have a MagSafe thing on the back of this. So I just need to get an actual stand to go ahead and put it right here, and I would just trace the wires on the side like this. But that's still arriving. I have one on the way, so whenever that arrives, I'll mess with that. So this is definitely not how it's going to look when I'm done with it, but that's how it looks right now. And of course, I'm using a DualShock 3. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole setup. Like I said, I can go ahead and zoom it in for games if I want to. So I'll load up some random game. What do I got? I'll load up Lemmings real quick. I'm just really happy with how this turned out, honestly. This isn't the highest quality display, but the fact that it's here already is you know, it's nice to mess with. So this is the unscaled dimensions for the game. I just want to show you guys the difference before I go ahead and fix it. So I'll go skip to the main menu. It's quite small here. So like I said, it's quite small. But I'll go ahead and zoom it in properly. And just one click of a button, and there you go. I can obviously adjust the volume from here. And it looks great, honestly, it really does. It doesn't look like it's being stretched or anything, but of course that is thanks to the lovely upscaling of the RetroTink. What an amazing device. I really love it. I got this thing on eBay for like $280 with the Pro controller, so Pro remote. So I'm very happy with it. You know, just for little projects like that, I really recommend it. I'm actually keeping the PSP charged because I have a dock equivalent for the PSP Go in cable form. I just have that charger cable that's split here running into my cigarette lighter for my police radar, and I just have that coiling around my shifter. So I mean, this definitely could be a cleaner setup. Like I said, I could just, you know, unplug this, get an inverter that's pretty small. I mean, just to check how this works, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off real quick. Okay, for some reason, if you kill the connection, you just have to unplug and replug the HDMI, and it works just fine. And then obviously you just scale it again. So I press 7 because that's what I have it set to, and it scales correctly. And then I can just go ahead and return to the main menu, and I press what I have it set to 5 to go back to the original scaling of the home screen, and it looks great. Yeah, just for practical purposes, I'm going to also show you movies. I have a bunch of movies on here. This could be a good use case for it, I guess. I could see me and my wife watching something, I guess. I have a bunch of Harry Potter on here because I haven't watched Harry Potter. I figured I might as well try. I'll put on Paprika. It's a pretty strange movie. It's a good one, though. And I think it uses the full dimensions of the original, like this scale from the home screen. So I won't scale it in unless it needs it, but let's see. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same dimensions. There's a little bit of black bar, but I'm really not picky. I could fix that if I wanted to, just by moving it. So I'll skip all the Blu-ray stuff and go straight to the film. If you haven't seen Paprika, it's a very good movie. It's just very bizarre. Not dissimilar to Akira and Perfect Blue, although Perfect Blue is more of a bit more of a horror than I'd classify it as surreal, I guess. But I'll go ahead and play movie.
He hasn't been in for the past few days, but I didn't think too much of it. Himuro tends to forget about everything else he has to do when he really gets involved with something.
Birds of a feather, like doctor, like assistant.
He must have been fooling us.
And where is Detective Konakawa now?
At a hotel. It's all here.
I'll zoom in a little bit just to show you. It looks good.
You can do it.
Looks pretty sharp for what it is. Yeah, I'll leave it there as far as movies goes. But yeah, I'm super happy with how this turned out. I really am. I just want to show you guys a real quick demo. I'm going to turn that off, but yeah, you know, if you happen to have a scaler, like obviously this doesn't have to be a retro tank, right? Like you don't have to use a retro tank as long as whatever you can take adapts either an AV or component signal to an HDMI signal, that you can use this as long as your car can actually accept some form of CarPlay. I'm not sure if Android Auto works. I'd have to do some research on that, but that's just the quick rundown of how I did that. People seemed interested. Just a quick breakdown again. Some kind of power source for the scaler. I use this big battery bank. You don't have to. The scaler itself, the power to the scaler, and the input signal and the output signal through an HDMI into the receiver here, which is in my case the AutoCast. I'm sure there are competitors, but this works well for me. Into the car, and if you want to charge the PSP itself, you can do that however you see fit. There's not really a way to do it without some kind of dock equivalent, but in reality you're probably not going to do this for super long. Even if you did, a movie should definitely be within the time frame of the PSP Go's battery. So, you know, obviously this isn't going to be the most you know, sit down experience, but it's a good time. It really is. And obviously this does open up the door for anything else. Like I could just cut out the middleman here if I wasn't using something that needed an analog output like this. I could just you know, plug it straight into the HDMI port. Like I do have a video of me using the PS4 on this. Obviously the dimensions are crushed down quite a bit to fit on this screen, but it does work and it's not bad. If you guys are interested, I can show that too, but you know, it's something that is pretty interesting to me, and I'm glad that other people found it pretty interesting too. But yeah, I'll go ahead and post this after I finish editing it. I'm glad you guys found it as interesting as I did, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.